Baby, what's going on, everybody? Patrick over here at Ghost Picks ATS, coming at you live from the road. It's Easter weekend. Hope you get some time with some loved ones or some family. And if you don't celebrate Easter, well, at least you got the Women's National Championship between the Arizona Wildcats and the Stanford Cardinal. Serious question here. What's the deal with the Pac-12? All Pac-12 Women's National Championship. You got UCLA and USC. You have the whole gang on the men's side. Makes you think a little bit. West Coast takeover? We'll see. So let's go ahead and get on into it. We got a couple things to go over today. Let's see, quick idea of how the video is going to go. We'll end with the free play. We'll have a couple nice insights in the Final Four tonight for the men's basketball. And then first off, we'll start off with a recap of yesterday. And that'll about do it. So let's get right on into that. So yesterday, we'll start with the free play. Oh, a little upset about that one. I said it in the video, I called it, I did everything, said it to a T, and just didn't listen to myself, I guess. So split them between the Jazz minus 12.5 and the Jazz minus 7 first half. I said in the video that the Jazz have a back-to-back and they're more than likely to take the foot off the gas at some point. I just kind of thought they have a little bigger lead, and even their second unit is very capable of controlling games, as they've seen all year. But they're up 15. They cover the first half, and then up 15 heading into the fourth quarter, given 12. And they just took the foot off the gas, simply put. They just coasted on into an 8-point W versus the Bulls, heading into a back-to-back today. So that hurt. Gotta learn. Smart. The first half was the play all the way. I said to take the Bulls live plus 20 at some point because the Jazz would take the foot off the gas. Sure as shit they did. Let's see if we can't get right off back today. So we have the late game. We got the Sacramento Kings and the Milwaukee Bucks. The free play today will be in that game later on in the video. First off, I want to go ahead and dive on into the premium side. So top tiers are clicking. 4 out of 5 this week on top tiers. Yesterday, top tier was the Bucks minus the 3 versus the Portland Trailblazers. Whooped them. That was glorious there. And then our two bottom plays, both lost yesterday in just ugly fashion. The first one, on me, it's the same thing. I'll tell you, I said it in the write-up. Look for role players that are out, because those are the guys that really kind of affect the game. So when a star is out, the line changes. When Harden's announced out, that line changes 5 points. So for example, we had the under in the Atlanta Hawks New Orleans Pelicans game. 5 minutes before tip, Steven Adams is a late scratch. There's no change to the line. People don't think it makes that much of a difference because throughout the course of the game, maybe it doesn't. But as far as the total, it makes a huge impact. Steven Adams has 0 offensive game. He's a purely defensive player. He's scratched last minute for Jackson Hayes, who's a young, spry, offensive dog, and doesn't play really much defense. That game goes over. Lost that one. And then the other one, the Kings. We had the Kings. That was just something else. The Lakers did not miss. They have not shot over 35% from 3 in a single game since Bron's left. Yesterday, they were shooting 60% with 5 minutes to go in the game. They were, final number, they were 16 for 30 with about 5 minutes to go in the game. I think they jacked up a couple late ones and still finished at 50%. But that hurts the soul. So these top tiers are clicking, but the bottom, gotta step it up. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we will look forward to doing that day by day. So let's see, top tier 4 and 5 for the week. So get those top tier. The top tier for the week is $9.999. Top tier for the month, that's the Ghost Pick special. It's $300 for the entire month. Only top tier plays. Go on and hop on in there over at ghostpicksats.com/team-Patrick. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Dive on into the Final Four. We got the Baylor Bears and the Houston Cougars. Baylor's -5 with a total of 135. We have a couple leans in this one for sure. But rather than give you any plays in these games, you can go over the March Madness package and March Madness Mania. I think it's only $50 for this weekend. You get all Final Four plays and the national championship at premium plays. So, insight: Baylor, dominant. Houston, pretty damn dominant themselves so far this postseason. So we look at these two teams and how they clash. You have three dominant guards for the Baylor Bears. Mitchell, Teague, and Butler, all three of them can get it done off the dribble, off the catch. They can shoot, dribble, finish at the rim. And most importantly, they play tenacious defense. They get after you under the defensive end. And, in my opinion, they were the best team in the country prior to their COVID thing. So, yes, Gonzaga. Oh, it was them. It was them and Gonzaga. And, heading into the tournament, it was Gonzaga and Baylor. But I think that Baylor has shown that they are very capable of being that team that they were in the midseason, 18-0, just cruise, whipping everybody. But they got a tough matchup today. So Sampson for Houston, the coach, anyone who's in the history books in the 1 of 5, you're doing pretty damn good. 1 out of 5 coaches ever to bring multiple teams to the Final Four. And he's done it in a different way. This Houston team is scrappy. They are feisty. They crash the boards like no other. Not a big team, yet top 10 in the country in rebounding. They're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. That is going to be the key in this game. If Houston can protect the ball and dominate Baylor on the boards, that will give them a shot in this game. But what they got to do? They got to protect the ball. So we saw Baylor last week press, and man, they put the foot on the throat and on the defensive end. That was the key. Same thing goes for Villanova game a week ago. So we had Villanova first game out, second game out, and third game out. First 2 they cover, third game against Baylor. They're down 1 point with 5 minutes to go in the game, getting 6, looking beautiful. Baylor pressed the ever-living out of them, forced 6 straight turnovers. Baylor wins that game by 12. Got to be able to take care of the ball first, Baylor. Otherwise, you're not going to stand a chance. So look for that one. I think it's going to be a great game. Fun one to watch. And then on the flip side, late game, we got the UCLA Bruins and the Gonzaga Bulldogs. This one, intriguing to say the least. So Mark Few, I think he's a dang good coach for what he does. For the consistency, he's there every year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. One of the most dominant teams we've ever seen in college basketball this year. But all 5 of them, their backups would beat 90% of college basketball teams. And that's just how they're built. They got depth, they got speed, shooting, defense, and they can do it all. And up until last week, we really hadn't seen Gonzaga press on defense the way they had. Take away the second half of the BYU game in the final game of the regular season, we hadn't seen Gonzaga turn it on the defensive end. They pressed off the opening tip against USC. There was all kinds of talk about USC, upset special, yada, yada, yada. Gonzaga heard it. Gonzaga came out from the opening tip, full pressure, and forced USC into 15 turnovers. I think it was 10 first half turnovers. And with that, they got about a 15-point lead. Never looked back. But you look at how that USC at the half. So I think they were down 19 at the half, and then the second half they ended up being even. And why was that? They protected the ball. So if UCLA can protect the ball versus Gonzaga, not only do I think they cover, but by golly, I think they got a shot to win. We saw it against Abilene Christian. Now, yeah, sure, I'm comparing Abilene Christian to Gonzaga, but just, not directly. Abilene Christian forces more turnovers than any single team in the country. They are feisty. They are tenacious. They will get after you. UCLA didn't turn it over a single time. They dominated that game from start to finish. They have 4 guys that can all handle the ball. They know how to do it. They know how to remain calm. So USC last week got turned, but Gonzaga made them speed it up. And if you play at Gonzaga's pace, oh boy, you're going to lose at Gonzaga's pace. I think it's going to be a great one. 14. Gonzaga can easily cover that. We've seen it time and time again. They're the best. Them and Baylor, they're by far the 2 best teams in basketball. So, for them to cover the spreads today, it just would take their A game. And on the flip side, it's Final Four. 14 points is a hell of a lot of points. UCLA is a scrappy team, to say the least. We've seen that. Cronin is probably the best coach of the four remaining, in my opinion. He's got that dog mentality. So it's tough to really put a finger on these, but I think they could really go either way. I think Houston could win on the court. I think UCLA could win on the court. I think Baylor could very truly win this game by 30 points if they're able to press Houston and force the turnovers and rebound. And on the flip side, same with Gonzaga. If Gonzaga is able to control the pace, if they're able to pick up, make UCLA get into hurry-up mode, UCLA is in big, big trouble. This is by far the longest video I've ever had, but with Final Four, a little insight is good. I'm talking this all day long. So with no further ado, let's get on to the free play of the day. So your free play of the day comes in the Kings and the Bucks tonight at 10 o'clock. So the Kings, they play, they've been playing some bad basketball. Last night was bad, but other than that, they've been decent. This is more about the Bucks and the Kings. So both teams are on a back-to-back, and both teams this year on the second half of back-to-backs have slowed down the pace dramatically. And that's just something, when you look at these two teams, both teams like to push it. But back-to-backs, not the case. Whether it be just conserving energy or just philosophy or actually fatigue, both these teams 100% slow it down on the second half of back-to-backs. You look at a team like the Bucks. The Bucks over-unders are 1-5 on the second half of back-to-backs, going to the under. And then, and you look at why that is. Pace. They slow it down, and it's not that hard to understand. Now, 239.5 points is a lot of points, especially for two teams coming off back-to-back, especially with the Sacramento Kings getting embarrassed the way they did last night. You're going to see some increased energy on the defensive end. I fully expect that of Luke Walton against a top team in the NBA. There's no reason to rest. You're going to get every ounce of energy you have out of in the Bucks, last 4 games of back-to-backs, they've gone under by an average of like 14 points. With only one of them, the only one, the Charlotte Hornets game, reached 240 on the dot. The other one's not a single one's reached 225. So ideally, we're looking for this one to cruise under. If we see a 70-point first quarter, might be a hell of a sweat, but that's about the only case I see this one going over. Good luck. God bless.